All these artists claim they don't want anything to do with a political event, but would they be pulling these stunts if Barack Obama or Joe Biden were president? We're here with tonight's squad. Let's jump right in. I mean, talk about an artist crisis here. James Rosen, seriously, do you think if it would have been Barack Obama's America's 250 that they would have done the same thing?
Well, they almost had the opportunity to perform for Joe Biden's 250th birthday, his actual
That's a good
250th. I think, you know, maybe it was the judgment of some of these artists that they would have a greater publicity spike by backing out of this than by actually participating in it. I don't know. They seem, both of those, the statements you read seem to be alluding to certain conditions or bait and switch things. I don't know what to make of all that, but I think the celebration will be just fine without them probably as well.
I think so too. Tim, I got to ask you though, I was reading through the press release of the Freedom 250, and there is not one mention of Donald Trump, not one mention of the administration, and it's not a political event in any way. They're going to actually have like bipartisan congressional bingo. They're going to have like a pavilion with each of the states being represented. Seriously, do you think this is these artists, these, I think, cowardly artists are bowing down to the woke mob?
Well, first of all, you got to give credit to whoever is running the 250 for inviting artists that they wouldn't expect to get at a Republican campaign event. You got to respect them, and you have to respect them for actually getting them to commit to it. So let's leave it there. But what do all these artists have in common that were mentioned? Bret Michaels. Let's see here. The Commodores, Martina McBride. They're all washed up, and they haven't really been relevant for decades. And so what are they doing now? They're doing nostalgia tours all around the country where they bring all of the fans that are still alive to come see them and rock out with Bret Michaels, the type 1 diabetic like me, you know, unless he goes low blood sugar. And so the bottom line is they're protecting their own skin in their nostalgia existence at this point.
I was talking to some of the Freedom 250 staff, and they were telling me they have TikTok, Uber, GE. I mean, they have all these sponsors coming in. It just doesn't seem to me like when we're celebrating America and America's greatness that this is in any way political. Terry.
Merce, I am so relieved that all these artists canceled. It gives us an opportunity to press the reset button and get people that are actually going to bring about greatness and bring crowds to this concert. I don't care about Martina McBride. I don't care about the Commodores. I don't care about Young MC. Get Lee Greenwood, for crying out loud, or get George Strait.
Right.
Well, I could go on. Leonard Skinner. I've been to like 4 Leonard Skinner shows. Leonard Skinner would fill that crowd up big time.
Alex, you're like our cultural warrior. You know so much about music. Who do you want to see on stage?
My favorite is when Mercy had to teach me that Bad Bunny was not a girl. I thought Bad Bunny was a girl.
And not a cartoon either.
I'm not the music expert. But, I think it's very disappointing. When they signed up for this, or did they not think twice? Like, did they not know that it was going to be during President Trump's presidency? You, in the introduction, you said, would this happen with another president? Well, you just also answered the question, like Martina McBride had no problem performing for the Obamas. That's pretty political. So I find that, it's very off-putting. I hope they lose following. I hope that the market does what it needs to do. The one thing I will say on a positive note is that each state is going to have a tent, right? The state fair thing. Okay, they all have their own food coming from the different states.
That's right.
That is what I'm kind of
looking forward to. The other thing you want to know is that at this event, actually, President Trump is not even going to be at the event. So that just shows how coward these celebrities are.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.